You with us here at Unity of Walnut Creek. Today we're going to take a journey into areas of exploration not generally found within most churches. But that's part of what we do in Unity. We like to ask some questions that are a little harder to answer. And I hope that you find it meaningful as we take our time in meditation, as the music touches us. I invite you to share with us together that inner journey that this is all about, that journey to the love and light at the very center of your heart. Thank you for joining us.
One more, Sheila.
Good morning and welcome to Unity Center of Walnut Creek. Please rise and join us in calling forth the light. 1, 2, 1, 2. We are calling forth the light. We are calling forth the light of God. We are calling forth the light. It shines in you. It shines in me. It shines right now for eternity. We are calling forth the peace. We are calling forth the peace of God. We are calling forth the peace. It shines in you. It shines in me. It shines right now for eternity. Joy. We are calling forth the joy. We are calling forth the joy of God. We are calling forth the joy. It shines in you. It shines in me. It shines right now for eternity. Whoa, 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 whoa. It shines in you. It shines in me. It shines right now for eternity. We are calling forth the light. We are calling forth the light of God. We are calling forth the light. It shines in you. It shines in me. It shines right now for eternity. Please remain standing and join us in surely the presence. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. I can feel a mighty power
mighty power, joy and grace. There's a holy hush around us. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place.
Good morning. Welcome to Unity of Walnut Creek. I'm Sian, and it is my pleasure to welcome you to our service. Let us all take a moment to check our cell phones and be sure they're completely off. And join me in waving hello to our friends at home. Your presence adds to our spiritual community. We appreciate you. Please join me in welcoming our guest musicians, the daddies and the mamas. Let us continue by opening our service and focusing our intention through our opening affirmation. Please join me in prayerfully and powerfully speaking it together 3 times. There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, the all-loving goodness of God. Again, there is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, the all-loving goodness of God. And once again, there is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, the all-loving goodness of God. Let us continue by speaking our prayer of unity. Together, God's love is within each of us, guiding us to dynamically express our wholeness, wisdom, and abundance. We acknowledge the universal wisdom in the Christ teachings and in all spiritual paths. I now choose to open to the presence of divine love and to be changed at depth. Throughout this sacred time, God is uplifting me, and through my heart, the world. Our heart minister, David McKibben, will read from Unity's Daily Word.
The daily word for today is wholeness. I am a divine expression of God, whole, strong, resilient, and vitally alive. Made in the image and likeness of God, I have the capacity to heal physically, emotionally, and spiritually. When a health challenge arises in me or someone I care about, I visualize wholeness in the midst of the situation and affirm a mighty healing. I know my illness or injury is temporary, while the immanence of God is permanent. In prayer and meditation, I picture God's healing energy in every cell and organ. I affirm wholeness. The life of God flows through me and through those I love. In God, we are whole and healed. From Matthew 6:22, the eye is the lamp of the body. So if your eye is healthy, your whole body will be full of light. Our affirmation, wholeness is always present. Would you join me? Wholeness is always present. One more time. Wholeness is always present.
on, angels. Come stand now by me and show me the strength I am meant to be. Come lift me up, help me to soar up through the heavens beyond earthly roar. I'm calling on angels. Come stand now by me. I'm calling on angels. Come now, help me see the power of spirit unfolding as me, shining so bright, lifting above, infinite light of your perfect love. I'm calling on angels. Come now, help me see. Please join us. I'm calling on angels. Let me hear you sing and show me the comfort inside of your wings. Let heavenly harmony lift up my ears. Your sweet lullabies remove any fears. I'm calling on angels. Let me hear you sing. Call on the angels. I'm calling on angels. Now come fill this space with heavenly presence and divine grace. A mist of pure love now gently fall, and perfect peace descend on us all. I'm calling on angels to come to this place.
I'm going to highlight a few upcoming events. Reverend David's 5th Wednesday of the month class is this week. His topic will be Jesus' experiences. On the first Sunday of June, the men's group have generously offered to cook a pancake breakfast following the 9:30 service and a barbecue lunch following the 11:30 service. Reverend Suzanne Leonard will be speaking on the second Sunday in June. She will be speaking at all services and will present an afternoon workshop on the Lazarus Blueprint, Ancient Secrets to Healing and Inner Peace. The details of these and other wonderful activities are highlighted in your bulletin and on our website. If you are here with us for the first time, we welcome you to our spiritual community. We would love to meet you, and so we invite you to experience our community at a unity event of your choosing. Please take the very important presence card from the seat pocket in front of you to the welcome table on our patio to learn more about us and to receive your gift certificate. If you are willing, please raise your hand so that we can acknowledge you. like to extend a special blessing to you and everyone new, both here and online. Together, we love you, we bless you, and we behold the light of God shining through you. Welcome. Please enjoy taking a moment to greet those around you until the music begins.
How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul. How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul.
Please join us.
How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul. How deeply you're connected to my soul.
All right. Thank you. So take that deep breath through your heart. And as you breathe in that awareness of all this love that surrounds you, this love that you are one with. And as you breathe out, let yourself rest, wiggle, get comfortable as we enter our time of prayer and meditation together. And as we do so, I invite you to let the music be a part of that journey to the center of your heart.
I can hear you calling me. I can feel you drawing me. Oh,
now in this quiet space, bathe within your golden grace. Everything's in perfect place. Here now in this quiet space, bathe within your golden grace. Everything's in perfect place.
Please join us.
The beautiful sound of that divine name of God in other languages, sound of creation. And the name of your being is love. Whatever it's called, wherever it's from. Who you are, this being sitting here this moment, infinite being that you are. You are the presence of divine love. Whether then love is preparing a meal, writing a book, relaxing and simply being the presence of love. For that is who we each are. And now, Mother, Father, God, as we seek to awaken to know that presence, to know our oneness with you, guide us to this inner place. This place deeper than all the doubts and questions. This place that we can touch and know as peace. This place deeper than all the challenges that are before us. This place in which we find peace. As we gently let go and breathe that peace, touching your sacred order that guides our lives, we open and feel you, see you, hear you more deeply. And from that place of peace, we are called to the moment of stillness. In the words of the Master, peace, be still. Peace, be still. Peace, be. Mother, Father, God. Infinite love. Beloved presence. As we awaken to know more completely that this which we experience as love upon our hearts is your movement and power and presence as us, blessing this world. And so we radiate this love to touch and uplift, heal and guide. We send it first to our own bodies for health and vitality. We send it to our minds and hearts for wisdom and understanding. And we radiate your love to each one dear to us, touching, blessing, uplifting, healing. And we send this love from our hearts. We send it across this spiritual community, becoming a part of that light and wisdom that flows through each one, blessing everyone in their world. We send this love to every prayer request brought here, knowing with each that they are enfolded in divine love and they are lifted into that which is the highest. And we send this love across these communities in which we live. We send it out from our hearts across the nation and on across the nations of the world to heal the fears of all peoples and bring forth their great wisdom and compassion. And we send this love to all who join us in prayer, whether in mosque or synagogue, temple or church, whether gathered at home or on the hillside. For in seeking to know you, we are all one. And we radiate this love. We send it to Mother Earth and all her creatures. And we send it to the heart of every single person in the earth. For you are that love in every heart. And in that love, we are one. Divine love flows through my heart, enfolding and blessing the world. Please join me. Divine love flows through my heart, enfolding and blessing the world. And again, divine love flows through my heart, enfolding and blessing the world. And once again, divine love flows through my heart, enfolding and blessing the world.
Here now in this quiet space, bathed within your golden grace, everything's in perfect place. Home,
It is so. Amen.
I dreamed of rain and the rains came, soft and easy, sweet and clear. I dreamed of rain and the rains came, and peace spread over I dreamed of summer and the winds changed, and the green was easy and the rivers ran clear. I dreamed of summer and the winds changed, and peace spread over the land. And the flowers bloom in the desert, and the air is fresh and clear. I dreamed of rain and the rains came, and peace spread over the land. I dreamed of freedom and the moon rose, and the way was easy and the path was clear. I dreamed of freedom and the moon rose, and peace spread over the land. And the guardian stars are shining, and the night is bright and clear. I dreamed of freedom and the moon rose, and peace spread over the land. I dreamed of rain and the rains came, soft and easy, sweet and clear. I dreamed of rain and the rains came, and peace spread over the land. I dreamed of rain and the rains came.
Thank you. What a treat. Wow. Well, good morning, you magnificent children of God. So share it with each other. Good morning, you magnificent child of God. Good morning, you magnificent child of God. Good morning. All right. All right. Well, I'm a little surprised to see everybody here. Did that warning thing. And I've compassion for any guests that didn't get the warning. The experience that we're in is one in which we are bringing up questions about much of the traditional perception of Jesus, the Jesus story, and so forth. And that's not comfortable to everyone. And yet, it comes times when we need to do that, because we need to understand that asking questions is a part of the spiritual path, and respecting the intelligence and wisdom within ourselves is also a part of that path. So, last Sunday we looked at the Jesus story and acknowledged some of the differences that were there in terms of what people who have done wonderful research on that have brought to us, and brought much of it into question. And knowing that the value is in the question, because the truth is, I don't know what happened or not. And when we begin to question, we begin to look at the God thought that's underneath some of the things that are shared, and realizing that as we grow as spiritual beings, our God thought grows and changes. And so we begin to understand life in different ways. Now, one of the things that I shared last Sunday was that regardless of how you see the story around Jesus, miracles, and other things, if we take it away and look underneath it, what we find is the experience of a person. We're talking here about a person. We're talking about something out there that sends somebody down here. Okay, we're not going there. We're talking about a person who so impacted the people that were with him that they wanted to talk with him and describe the experience in terms of something that was divine. And in that language, of course, they went into and began to express it in the God thought of that time. But what happens is when we take that away and look at what's there, we begin to see the expression of a new God thought, of the indwelling presence of the divine. Not separate, but one with us as spiritual beings as we travel this road. Beautiful things that we get to touch. Again, regardless of where you look at the elements of the story, what's underneath it becomes of tremendous beauty and meaning in terms of our own lives. So that's the easy part, because we could go along with the academics to that point. Now, we go into the part that I assure you won't ever hear in a church before. So, what happens for me was when I look and say, okay, who was that guy that showed up there? I mean, that's a tremendous accomplishment to step into this state of consciousness that out of that term is called the Christ, out of the Hindu, the Atman, on into the Buddha mind, the I am, many different ways that potential within us, the spiritual being that we are in its fullness, that we can touch and explore. So, what took him there? Many, many pieces to that story, but in my own exploration, many years ago, when I was working with the Edgar Cayce readings, and for those that don't know, Edgar Cayce was probably the best-known American psychic. Beautiful readings on a very eclectic view of spirituality. But I came across this set of readings that talked about prior incarnations of the soul that was Jesus. Prior incarnations. So within the concept of reincarnation, that soul was in the earth in different experiences before. Now, this isn't about reincarnation. Some of you know that I have what I perceive as memories of past life experience. I can explain them away better than you can. Okay, so again, let's stay open here. We aren't giving anybody answers, we're just asking questions. Okay, so again, whether or not, it's a fascinating perception to look at what that journey might have been for that soul. And there are some of those readings that it's clear to me Cayce is talking symbolically rather than in actuality. But there's one he kept going back to as a very real experience. And it brought up some interesting questions for me. He describes Jesus' prior incarnation as Joshua, the war leader of Israel. So you may or may not recall that segment of history, or story, whether or not it's history. The children of Israel leave Egypt, where they were enslaved. They go into the desert, spend 40 years or more or less wandering around with Moses. And then they get to what they identify and they call their promised land. Okay, now they send over basically spies to take a look and see what's the situation over there? And most of them come back and say, oh, big guys, big swords. Don't go there. And they get two that say, oh, we can do it. God's with us. We can do it anyhow. One of those is Joshua. And eventually Moses gives his authority to Joshua as the leader. And then Joshua, with this group of people, enters this land and subdues it by military conquest. Now understand, it was bloody. It was genocide at times. They would go in and wipe out not only the soldiers, but all the men, women, and children left in the city. Okay. Now, and in Joshua's story, it comes out that God told him to do that. Not my God. Interesting story. Now understand that in the story, we end up with the expression of it through the very primitive God thought of that time, which is God out there, okay, and kind of interfering, saying, okay, I like this group, I don't like that group, you're good, you're not, I'm on your side, and I'm going to wipe out the other guys. Okay? And so the direction that he receives in order to accept the authority and the power that he's experiencing, he shares as God's direction. Now, let's shift the God thought and move to that place where, as we understand that divine presence, it is within us. We are one with that, and there are many ways that it expresses within us. One of those is intelligence. The ability to take and bring the knowledge we have, bring that understanding and intelligence to meet and solve the questions before us. Well, his question was pretty simple. How am I going to make this safe for my people as opposed to those people? Separation, higher than, lower than, safe, not safe. All of that was a part of the consciousness of that people at that time. And so in that intelligence, which let him do that successfully, he sees a divine hand, a divine guidance. And within our intelligence to meet the things in our lives, that intelligence expressing through us is that divine presence, but it's not necessarily at its highest. As I imagine most of us have proved at one time or another in our lives. It doesn't mean that we weren't going forward successfully with what was before us, but we have some real options. On the level of intelligence, the level of oneness, the level of spiritual wisdom that we bring. And genocide isn't one of those. But when we look at that story, we can understand why it's expressed that way. Now, the fascinating thing to me is, much later, that man walks through that countryside teaching peace, teaching forgiveness, teaching love, teaching non-resistance. So much so that when he experiences violence from another, he responds to violence with healing and forgiveness. that he affirms connection instead of separation, inclusion instead of superiority. And in that experience that he meets, there are some interesting parallels that happen. And I invite you to explore this as the possibility of the expression of karmic or cause and effect law, which is one of the ways that we meet what we have created and learned. And he experiences being derided in public, as Joshua did for some of the kings that he captured, being hung on a tree until dead, as Joshua did to some of the kings he captured, being taken down before sunset and placed in a cave, as Joshua did for some of the kings that he captured. Now, the whip appears different. In the Joshua story, I am unaware of a reference to that. However, my understanding of the Jesus story is that he went into the temple and cleared it out with a whip. Now, I hear a lot of people saying, well, he wouldn't have used it. I'm not sure. My experience of growing through our humanness is we got to take care of our anger, and we usually blow it a time or two before we get our hands on it. Is that a picture of karmic law? I don't know. But the interesting thing to me is not that it happened, but what was the response to it happening? There, in Jesus' teachings, he says he did not come to take away the law, that it would be fulfilled every jot and tittle. But he brings that consciousness of love, of grace. And it is that way in which he meets what was there. And that consciousness doesn't establish an earthly kingdom like Joshua did. Joshua won, controlled the territory and all its goods. Jesus didn't control the territory, any of its goods. But the impact of meeting what showed up in his life with love created a dynamic in consciousness that this world is still seeking to understand and work with. Is that how it happened? I don't know. And what I do know is when I look at that story, it tells me a possibility within myself that I can choose that has meaning for what is unfolding in my life. So, we're back there. Let's leave that gone. One of my questions has been, so what about today? So, well, whether you want to do resurrection of the body or non-resurrection of the body, or you want to go this way or that way, we know you don't get out of it when the body goes. Okay? We all still got work to do. And so what of that soul as it's continued today? I've had so many experiences of being touched by people who in the challenges of their life made sincere effort to connect with Jesus and that support. And for many of them, they felt power, they felt healing. I know of a number of people who are standing in their world sober today because of that request, who are relating to their families in a different way, who moved beyond huge challenge because in that request they felt direct and powerful support. Beautiful, beautiful sacred experiences. And I know many people just as sincere, just as loving and caring, who asked for that response and did not get it. I don't think we're in a one-size-fits-all system, folks. As a result, I am so grateful for the beautiful variety of spiritual path and experience open to us. What a gift to walk through this world, particularly at this time when it's so close in here. I mean, we can sit and chant the Om and talk about Jesus in the same service. My goodness. What a beautiful, beautiful thing that there is variety in our paths. And that part of the assignment is not to do what someone tells you, but to find that way within your own heart to what has meaning and works for you. You're the only one whose spiritual growth you're responsible for. So your spouse can breathe easier. Now, I have a sense that Jesus has a compulsion to be an author, because I keep being aware that people are talking about books that Jesus is writing through them. Now, I've read a number of them, and I'm not really convinced. And yet, there's some that seem to have a power, a consciousness that makes a difference. Many of you are students of the Course in Miracles. There's this implication in it that that's Jesus. Maybe it is. Maybe it's not. But it certainly has an impact that is beneficial and very meaningful to many people. Beautiful. So I ran across a different experience I want to share with you. I was the keynoter at a conference on the heart. So I show up and I'm doing my thing, and I was aware that the last afternoon there was going to be another lady who was going to be presenting there at this conference. So I looked her up, read some of her book before she went, and found it very interesting. Turns out that she was an artist, and she had received that inner direction to do a portrait of Jesus. Now, her realm of study had been early religious art. And so that would make sense. It wasn't something she wanted to do and felt comfortable with, but she felt kind of compelled to do it. And so she had this image that came into her mind on what this would be. So she got all ready and sat down to paint, but she really couldn't bring that image of Jesus out. And in the room where she was, Jesus materialized physically and was there with her many hours over many days. This is the picture that she ended up creating from that experience. Now, in that, they talked. And in those discussions, he answered many questions, and he shared things that he felt were valuable to her. And so after as the picture came out, part of the instruction was that she could share some of what he had shared with her. Now, interesting experience in what came from that. And on the question, was that Jesus actually manifesting physically? I met with her over lunch, and we talked, because I was curious. I've known people who have very creative imaginations. And the spiritual world seems to draw more than its fair share. But I sensed a very sincere person who had been deeply touched by something, and there was I had no sense that there was any sense of deception in her, that she was sharing genuinely what she experienced. But the meaningful thing to me was when I heard what was being shared. One of the things she said was that his focus was on oneness. She states, his understanding of everything was whole. He bore no witness to duality or opposition. And she quotes him, through the oneness of the Spirit, the universe is maintained in unity, and all of creation performs in an interlocking system of relationships where everything belongs and has its place. Spirit is the ultimate medium of communication, for it is indivisible. One presence, one power. He focused a great deal on love. He said the Creator is love, the source of love and the origin of your own beingness. In that image you were created. There is but one God which provides an enduring unity to all that is. What it means to be created in the image of God is that holy will pours through all mankind, generation after generation, by way of a common essence. The essence is love. The name of your Father is love, and so too is that your immortal name. Love is the essence of true beingness. Love is who you are. Love is who you are. Own it for a moment with me. I am love. I am love. I am love. I am love. Love is who you are. And then she focuses, or says that he focused a great deal on the heart. And she says, he explained that it was his gift and chosen task to come and restore the heart to its true power. Interesting thought. His gift and chosen task to come and restore the heart to its true power. She quotes him. When the heart is in its rightful place, the mind then can be truly of service. And ironically, it becomes both brilliant and blissful when in a right combination with the heart. The heart is the timeless and indestructible source of all higher knowledge. All higher knowledge. Not how to wipe out your enemies. The source of all higher knowledge. It is the one point within each person where the inner and outer forces are the same. Within the heart, the will of God and your own will be brought into harmony. The heart is the soul's gateway into life and beyond into eternity. An interesting perception. Now, when I look at what's there, what I see is a God thought that was tried to bring forth in that journey 2,000 years ago. and got caught up in people trying to share that years later with the understanding and the translators that they could get and use and all that happening. And a purer God thought being shared to guide us at this time in this way as we journey. And besides, we always pick the person who agrees with us as the one that's right. So, is that really Jesus? I don't know. And what I find is that what is there is of value to me in my life and making the choices in my day. And it doesn't matter to me what happened 2,000 years ago. And I don't know what happened. But what I do know is what matters. Is what is the choice I make today? Can I be at that place of oneness and see our connectedness? And that which I do to you, I do to me. Can I enter into that consciousness of love where separation fades away and a greater harmony comes forth? Can I enter into that place of heart where we are one? If He's helping me get there, that's my Jesus. And I can work with that. Bless you.
If you would like prayer support for any challenges or celebrations, please see our heart ministers. They will be available here after service, in the sanctuary, and on the patio. Our heart ministers are wearing the lavender stoles. We also invite you to place a prayer request in the prayer box by the front door or in the book center, or by selecting our prayer request link on our website. We will be praying with you throughout the week. It is now time for our prosperity celebration. For Love in Action credit card donation, Love in Action or credit card donations, there are envelopes provided in the back of each chair. I invite you to take your tithe or offering in your hand and be aware that God is the source of all your good. Please repeat the affirmation with me. Together.
Divine love
Through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive.
I'm grateful. 1, 2, 3, 4.
If I had a hammer, I'd hammer in the morning, I'd hammer in the evening, all over this land. I'd hammer out danger, I'd hammer out a warning, I'd hammer out love between my brothers and my sisters, all over this land. Ooh, if I had a bell, I'd ring it in the morning, I'd ring it in the evening, all over this land. I'd ring out danger, I'd ring out a warning, I'd ring out love between my brothers and my sisters, all over this land. Ooh, well, I've got a song, and I'll sing it in the morning, I'll sing it in the evening, all over this land. I'd sing out danger, I'd sing out a warning, I'd sing out love between my brothers and my sisters, all over this land. Ooh, well, I've got a hammer, and I've got a bell, and I've got a song to sing all over this land. It's the hammer of justice, bell of freedom. It's a song about love between my brothers and my sisters all over this land. It's the hammer of justice. It's the bell of freedom. It's a song about love between my brothers and my sisters all over this land.
The kids are coming. The kids are coming. Should we get started?
And we receive these gifts, grateful for all this love, for the abundance that flows in and through all that we do. In His joy. Amen. All right. Here they come. All right, so let's bless our children together. Children, you are loved, special, and important. God loves you, and so do we. So please stand and take hands, and let's share together our prayer of protection. Together, the light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And our peace song. And the peace in the earth right now. So let it shine and have fun.
Brothers and sisters, oh.